So, let's get on with day 5. What we're going to do is stop the scroll day 5. What are we going to be doing today? Well, we're back to the neck and shoulders, especially the shoulder area, because the shoulder structure is incredibly complicated. And if the shoulders aren't working properly, then that creates imbalances and compensation patterns in other parts of the body, especially in the neck, the actual shoulder joint in the arm, and upper back and lower back. So getting the shoulders moving in an effective way is a great way to have greater mobility, greater freedom from pain, greater flexibility in your day-to-day life. And we live in this world that puts our arms forward a lot, puts our shoulders forward a lot. Texting, driving, reading, using a computer. So all puts our arms in front of our body and rounds the shoulders forward. So I think a great way to counteract that balance is to be rolling the shoulders back. And I also like to get into that area between the shoulder blades, because good movement in the shoulder blades is essential. If the shoulder blades are frozen on the back, then all the movement that the arms are doing is coming from the shoulder joint rather than the whole of the shoulder blade structure. And one way I really love to get some movement into the shoulders is with shoulder shrugs. But shoulder shrugs, when we do them in class, I usually cue this idea of having Muppet arms, where the arms are dangling down below, like lifeless arms. But I've discovered lately the one thing I like to do is to actually put my hands on my hips and roll my elbows forwards. So now my elbows are pointing forwards. You can't actually see them very well, but they're pointing forwards. Then from here, I take a deep breath in. And even with that deep breath, I can feel an opening in the middle of the back between the shoulder blades. I hold the breath, shoulders come up, shoulders go back, and I'm still keeping the elbows forward. And then I exhale, roll the shoulders down the back slowly. My elbows are still forwards. Big breath in again. You already feel a little bit looser. Hold the breath, squeeze middle of the shoulder blades together, squeeze them together, exhale, drag them down the back. They're not going to move as much, but there's going to be a little bit of movement. Next, bottom tips of shoulder blades. Big breath in. Try and bring the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together. I like to think here of bringing my elbows down and towards one another as I'm doing it. Exhale, drag them down the back. Let's do that one more time. So hands on the hips again, elbows forwards. I'm rounding the shoulders forward. I can feel my shoulder blades parting. And having done one round of these, they already feel a little bit easier. Big breath in. Hold the breath, shoulders come up, shoulders go back. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and drag the shoulder blades down the rib cage. Elbows still forwards. Huge breath in. Squeeze middles of shoulder blades together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Exhale, drag them down the back. Finally, those bottom tips of shoulder blades. Big breath in. Squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades together. Exhale, drag them down the back. They're not going to move that much, but there's a little bit of movement, and that's what all that matters. Take the hands off the hips. Roll your elbows back. Cool. That really gets into that rhomboid area between the shoulder blades, that spot that really suffers tightness in people. Next thing I like to do is shoulder rolls. And I like to roll the shoulders back again, because most of what we do rolls the shoulder blades forward. So we're going to roll the shoulders back. So we're undoing some of the things that roll our shoulders back. And there's two ways of doing this. And I find that there's some people who like to do one method better than the other. So this is why I offer both methods. The simplest method is to shrug up the shoulders and roll them back simultaneously. And they come back down. And we roll them up, bring them up to the ears, and roll them back. Let them come down. Down a couple more times. Shoulders come up, and roll them back. The other one that we can do is to roll them back one at a time. This is a very disco move. I'm pretty sure John Travolta, somebody did this in a movie once, if I remember correctly. Just rolling the shoulders back one at a time. And this gets movement into them separately. and allows you to really concentrate on what's going on in the shoulder blade area, rather than trying to do a big movement all at once, because that can, if we can break down the movements, make them small, we can learn that movement in the body, then we can integrate the different parts of that movement and bring them together. We can isolate one movement, isolate another movement, and integrate them and make a big movement. So some people prefer the single shoulder rolls, other people prefer to do the big ones. Find the one that works for you in your body and do them daily. Definitely do them daily. This is one of those ones that, well, maybe even more than once a day. Right, on to the tech tips, and today it's a tech tip by request, and it's keeping kids safe online. And it's a big topic, and it's a ever changing, constantly changing topic, because the environment changes, the social media changes, the technologies themselves change, what kids have access to changes, and now during this pandemic, we've seen kids being driven online to do schooling, learning, interacting with one another. So there's huge changes, and there is no one size fits all. And over the years, I've seen solutions to this come and go, and I've seen different people try different things. My simple tips for this would be, first off, have a discussion. Keep those lines of discussion with kids open. It's whether you're kids or grandkids, or keep those lines of conversation, of discussion open. I think sometimes it's useful to remember when we were kids, when adults were talking to us, and what worked and what didn't for us. And to be thinking, well, kids nowadays aren't not that much different to how we were. And to maybe see if there's a way of giving them what we thought we wanted at that point. I think that's a good starting point. And I think this is where family discussions, extended family discussions, comes into play. There's no one size fits all with this one. I think everybody has to come to this dependent on their own circumstances, which is why I don't think it's very healthy for me to lay down any one thing that works. Another thing is there's a lot of software controls out there. Software controls on phones and tablets, and also on your router that connects to the internet, to allow you to control what websites kids can see, what they can use, how long they can spend online, and all that kind of good stuff. Again, it's a tool. I would not use it as a one-size-fits-all thing. Again, I think this forms part of a discussion, and I think that's where that is best done. I think if it's too authoritarian, I think it's very easy for kids to try and find a way around that. Kids are very smart. And I think there's also a lot of online resources. I know of quite a few that I've used in the past, and I'll put links to the video, links to ones that I find work very well in the comments for this video when it ends up online. But doing a quick search on Google, or as to keeping kids safe online, will bring up a lot of resources from organizations like Get Safe Online, NSPCC. There's also one that I came across, Internet Matters. They have a lot of good information out there for that is something that parents can actually bring into a discussion with their kids. And again, I think that this is part of where it is. And finally, I think that we as adults can set good examples. If we're just on our phone the whole time, then it isn't surprising that we're going to see that mirrored in the people around us. And I think it's important to remember that most of us probably watching this video here now did not have phones when we were kids, did not have all this tech, all these distractions, and probably adults were telling us about spending time on TV or something. Times change, but the problems themselves don't. So I would say be in conversation, find balance, and set good examples yourself. Because it's always easier to change yourself than it is to change others, but we can influence others. So there's the week. I mean, at no point am I saying to anybody they should not have tech. They should sell all their tech and go live in a tree. Yeah, that's fine. But I always think what really works best is having a balance. There's no front without a back to things. And if we don't have this concept of balance and we go all in on one thing or another, it doesn't last very long. It's much better to be making small changes to our own daily tech regimes in some ways, or tech habits, than it is to say, I'm never doing this again, or I'm never doing that again. Because those changes, as a rule, don't last as long. So make small changes, find balance in your life, and basically find whatever brings you happiness in what you're doing. If you actually honestly feel happy and you're scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through Facebook, then there's nothing wrong with that. And I suppose in many ways it only becomes a problem if you're spending so much time doing it that other aspects of your life are being neglected. But if it isn't making you happy, and this is what I'm hearing from a lot of people, then that's the point at which it is worth mindfully taking a look at it and seeing and examining and seeing what is it that we're trying to get from this thing, and why does it not make us feel happy. So that's been Stop the Scroll. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments down below and I will get around to them. If I've missed anything, let me know. If you'd like to work with me, then go over to inspiratrix.co.uk. You'll find classes by me, you'll find classes by Claire, you'll find classes by other people. There's an awful lot of good stuff on there. You can also check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of good stuff on there as well. And I'll leave you with this. My final thoughts on this. Tech, in my opinion, has a place in the world. And as with everything, it's a balance. It's working towards finding that balance. There is never one answer. There will never be one answer. Be guided by your heart. Be guided by how you feel. And enjoy what you're doing. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Hope to see you all again real soon. Take care. Goodbye.